Hi, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for being here. So, I'm calling today's practice Soothe Your Soul. If you are doing these classes as I release them, then it's very likely that you are perhaps feeling the heaviness and the chaos of the world. And I think that, um, that can be true all the time and has been since, humans were around, that the world can feel chaotic and unsafe, um, depending where you are in the world. But I think right now in the US, which is where I'm coming to you from, things feel a little bit more chaotic than normal. And um, it's a very appropriate response to feel activated. That's just a normal nervous system response. The problem is, however, when we get stuck in that activation. So this practice is really intended to help to settle the nervous system, to offer resources. And when I say resources, really what I'm talking about are, bringing in layers of support that feel stable and safe and grounding, soothing, or at least just neutral. And so that's really the intention here, is to soothe your soul, to connect to that part of you that is inherently okay. And sometimes it's hard to feel that or even know that that part of us exists because it can get really buried. But that's why these practices are so important. So for this practice, I'm going to invite you to have as many props available as you have. So I have 2 blocks. Of course, if you don't have 2 blocks, it's okay. And I've got a blanket underneath me. I've got a bolster. Actually, I'm going to grab one more bolster. A little bit thicker bolster. And if you don't have any of these props, that is okay. You can also grab some extra blankets, some pillows or couch cushions, or whatever you have to make this practice feel a little bit more supportive. Okay? And we're going to start seated. I want you to find any position that feels good. If you want to give yourself a little prop under your seat, which is always helpful, especially if you kind of find yourself sinking backward, kind of having that like sad dog look where the tail's tucked between the legs. We want to just invite a little bit more lift, a gentle expansion into the body. And so that it can be really helpful to prop yourself here. So just find what you need and take a few moments here to settle in, to find that relatively tall, aligned spine. We're just going to rest the hands heavy on the knees. And we're going to start with some orienting. So orienting is just bringing your attention to this time and space that we're in. And so I'm going to just invite you to slowly begin to turn your head to the right. We're keeping our eyes open for this practice. And then slowly scanning over to the left. And you're just scanning the room. And we're looking just noticing actually colors and shapes and textures of the objects around us. And see if you can look for things that feel safe, comfortable, or things that let you know that you're okay in this moment. So it could be even just be something neutral. Maybe you're able to look out a window and connect with a tree. And just continuing to look around. You don't have to just scan right and left. You can look up, you can look down. And if you find something in your physical environment that again feels soothing, then just take a few moments to really take that object in. And maybe it doesn't feel soothing, but it's just neutral. There's no charge to it. And just allowing your eyes to soften a little bit. And then from here, we're going to move into a breath technique known as the physiological sigh. So the way that we practice this breath technique is we take a full breath in through the nose. We hold at the top just for a moment. We sip in just a little more breath. Hold for a moment, and then exhale it all out through the mouth. And we're going to do that 3 times. We're going to take just like a normal, natural breath in between each of those as well. Okay. And so from here, I'm going to invite you just to take that normal, natural breath in and out through the nose if possible. And then on your next breath, inhale as fully as possible in through the nose. Really fill up. Hold for a moment at the top. Sip in a little more breath. Hold. And then exhale it out through the mouth. And then just take a normal, natural breath in and out. And then once again, really filling up, drawing that breath in through the nose, holding at the top, sipping in a little more breath, hold for a moment, and then exhale out through the mouth. And then normal, natural breath. And then one more time. Nice full breath in through the nose. Sip in a little more breath. And then exhale it all out. And then just returning to that normal, natural breath. And again, if possible, we're inhaling and exhaling through the nose. And then here we begin to cultivate what is known as samavritti, or balanced breath. So inhalations and exhalations are about equal in length. And we just find that nice, soothing rhythm. So it doesn't feel forced. There's no strain. We want to see if we can just smooth out the breath as much as possible. So if there's jagged edges, like what might you shift just to kind of smooth that out? And then from here, I'm going to invite you to find either a soft, still, slightly downward cast gaze, or closing your eyes completely. I'm just taking a few moments here just to really be with your breath, to observe it. If you notice that your mind gets caught up in waves of thought, just simply bringing your attention back to your breath. Now, I do want to point out, if focusing on the breath in this way is in any way anxiety producing, then just let go of the breath. Or if trying to control the breath in any kind of way feels anxiety producing, just let the breath flow naturally. You can always bring attention to something else. Maybe it's a sound in the space around you, or maybe it's just feeling your seat in contact with the ground, feeling the support of the earth beneath you. Maybe it's connecting to your heart center. So again, we're connecting to what feels soothing. And that will be different for each one of us. So there's no right or wrong answers or no right or wrong resources. We're just taking a few moments to really bring our full attention to whatever that is. And then from here, we'll bring the palms together in front of the heart. I'm going to invite you to rub your hands together pretty quickly. So the intention here is to cultivate as much heat in between the hands as you can. And if it's really cold in your space, as it is in mine, you might have to rub your hands together a little longer. Good. And then once you've got some heat in between your hands, I'm going to invite you to gently cup your eyes. So just bringing your warm palms to your eyes, giving nourishment to your eyes. And then from here, slowly letting your hands drop away from your face, bringing your hands onto your heart. And just taking a moment here just to feel, to notice, how is your heart? What is needed from this practice today? To soothe your soul. Remembering that everything I offer here is an invitation. You can take it, you can leave it, you can find something else. This is your practice and your time to take care of yourself. So taking another breath. And then from here, releasing the arms. We're going to stay seated, but I'm going to invite you just to, if you want, you can kind of extend the legs out. Maybe you want to massage the knees or just let the legs wiggle in and out. And then we'll come back to a cross-legged position if that's a position that's comfortable for you. Of course, again, you're welcome to find anything else. But we'll cross the opposite leg in front if you're in cross-legged position, just to give your hips a little bit different input. Okay. And then once again, taking a moment, grounding through the sitting bones, rising through the crown of the head, hands resting on knees or thighs, shoulders softening away from the ears. From here, let your chin drop in towards your chest. So really letting your head be super heavy here. Like imagine just gravity just completely in charge of your head here. So we're just surrendering to gravity. And then keeping that weight, slowly rolling your right ear to your right shoulder. Maybe even kind of taking the head back just a little bit and then rolling back to the chest. And left ear to left shoulder. And rolling it back to the chest. Right ear to right shoulder, rolling it back to the chest. Left ear to left shoulder. Slowly coming back to center and just taking one more round here, and you can move as slowly or as quickly as you'd like. And then after you've completed that last round, I'm just slowly lifting the chin. And from here, we'll bring some movement into the shoulders. So inhale, shoulders lift to the ears. Exhale, we roll them back. So inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift. And exhale, release. We'll just do a few more. Good. And then from here, we're going to move into a practice called sway like bamboo. So the sitting bones stay rooted as we invite some side to side movement. You can kind of let your head go as well. And slowly, gently swaying side to side. And just finding that right pace, that right rhythm for your body at this time. So allowing for the spine to become nice and fluid, and yet we're rooted, we're grounded through the pelvis. And you can just stay with this movement, or maybe you want to kind of start to invite some circular movement in. And if you're circling in one direction, maybe do that a few times and then switch directions. Good. And then we'll just come back to center. And from here, shifting forward to hands and knees. So finding tabletop position. If you do want to have a little bit of extra padding or support for your knees, you can always bring your blanket underneath. Okay, and so wrists below shoulders, knees below hips or thereabouts. So wrists can always be a little bit forward of the shoulders. Knees can be always slightly behind the hips. So just taking a moment here to settle in, to really ground through the hands. Even just allowing your eyes to settle in one spot on your mat. And just taking a few moments to feel your breath in this position. And then we'll add some movement to the breath through cow-cat. So inhale, belly drops towards the earth, tail and crown reach to the sky. Exhale, tail and crown reach towards the earth. Inhale, opening up. Exhale, curling in. Inhale, opening. Exhale, curling. Now you can stay with this, or maybe you even try to switch up the breath. So maybe inhale, rounding. Exhale, opening through front body. You can just try it out and see which breath feels better to you. And again, you can stay with this movement, or you can start to explore some other movement from this quadruped position. So maybe some wagging of the tailbone side to side. Maybe some circular movements again, circling through the rib cage. Maybe it's moving in and out of child's pose. You're also welcome to find stillness here. Whatever shape feels soothing to you. And then when you're ready, we'll slowly sink the hips back towards the heels. You can soften your elbows down onto the mat. You can lower your forehead all the way down, or maybe you want to bring a block underneath your forehead. Okay, so really settling in to whatever shape feels good. And once again, you can find stillness, or you can invite a little bit of movement, maybe rocking your hips side to side, maybe rolling your forehead across your mat or block from temple to temple. And so again, finding what feels good and soothing in your body. And then coming back to center and just taking a moment to pause in stillness and just notice. We're going to stay in child's pose, but go ahead and walk your hands forward a little bit more so that the elbows are lifting. So we're in more of an active child's pose, extended child's pose. We're going to root down through the palms of the hands. Take a nice full breath in and out, really drawing that breath into the back of your body. And then as you inhale, go ahead and rock forward into your modified plank pose. As you exhale, lower to your belly. Anchoring down through the feet, through the pubic bone. Inhale, float the chest in low cobra. And just taking several breaths here. We want to see if we can kind of breathe a little bit deeper, even down into the abdomen. So we'll kind of feel the abdomen push against the ground as we breathe in and soften into it as we breathe out. And you can stay right here, or maybe start to push into the palms of the hands a little bit more, lifting the chest just a little higher, keeping the collarbones nice and broad. And then from here, slowly releasing all the way down. Inhale, we'll push up to all fours. And then this time you can either find child's pose again or tuck the toes, downward facing dog. And right away, finding a little bit of movement if you'd like. Maybe pedaling the heels, or again, you can kind of gently wag the tailbone side to side, or shake your head out, yes or no. And then settling into stillness, knees can stay slightly or deeply bent, hips drawing away from the fingertips. From here, we'll slowly walk the feet up to the top of the mat, taking the feet about hips width apart and parallel to one another. So as you inhale, find your halfway lift. Fingertips can be on the floor, hands can be at the shins, even at the thighs. Find that length through the spine. And then exhale, forward fold. But we're going to bend the knees a little bit deeper. So coming into a ragdoll forward fold so that your belly can really rest on your thighs here. And if it feels okay, let your head just drop towards the ground. Maybe clasp your elbows with opposite hands. Once again, stillness, maybe a little bit of movement if you'd like. You can sway side to side. You could shake out the head, yes or no. So just finding that movement or lack of movement. And then if you are moving, coming back to stillness, release your hands to the ground. This first time up, we're going to roll up one vertebra at a time, and I want you to take as much time as possible to rise. So really grounding through the feet, keeping a slight bend in the knees. We're going to roll it up. And then as the crown of the head reaches up towards the sky, lift your shoulders up towards your ears. Exhale, roll the shoulders back and down. Inhale, we lift. Exhale and release. One more time. Inhale and exhale. Good. Go ahead and step your feet out a little bit wider. Then hips width apart. You can even turn your toes out a little bit wider than the heels. From here, we're just going to start to kind of sway gently side to side. And that opposite heel can lift. You can just let the arms hang and swing naturally. And you can, again, find that right pace, that right rhythm for your body. So maybe you want to make that movement a little faster. Maybe you want that movement a little bit slower and softer. Okay, so just finding that right rhythm for you. And we'll just take a few more repetitions here. And we're also kind of scanning the space once again, orienting ourselves. And then from here, we're going to just slow it down and eventually coming back to center. And just pause. You can keep the eyes open, especially if closing them makes you feel a little dizzy here after that movement. Otherwise, if it does feel good to close your eyes, go ahead. And then we're going to walk the feet in a little bit closer together. I'm going to stand at the top of my mat. So finding Tadasana, mountain pose, feet hips width apart and parallel to each other, arms releasing by your sides, palms facing forward. Feel the texture of your mat beneath your feet. So really feeling that sense of grounding, feet being rooted, and at the same time, gently lengthening through the crown of the head. Okay, we'll take another full breath in. And as you exhale, join your palms together in front of your heart. Inhale, circle the arms outward, upward, reach up to the sky. Maybe a little lift of the chin and the chest. And then exhale, we'll hinge and fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, we're going to step the right foot back and lower the knee to the mat. You can always pad your knee if needed. Also untuck those back toes. And then rooting through the left foot, inhale, we're going to reach up to the sky. And then our exhalation takes us right back down to the ground. As you inhale, bring your left knee to meet your right knee in tabletop position. And then exhale into that extended child's pose. Now you're welcome to stay here in child's pose or inhale, rock forward into a modified plank position. Exhale and lower to the ground. Inhale, cobra, lower high. Exhale, release back to the ground. Inhale, pushing up to all fours. Exhale, down dog or child's pose. Just settling into stillness here as much as you're able to. We also want to see if we can kind of find a single pointed focus with our gaze. So instead of the eyes looking all over the room, maybe see if you can just find one spot to gaze at. So we have this steady gaze, along with that steady breath, that samavritti. balanced breath, if possible, in and out through the nose. Then on your next breath, inhale, bring your knees to the mat. Exhale, step your right foot between your hands. You can untuck those back toes again. Inhale to rise. Exhale, lower. Stepping forward with your left foot. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, root through the feet. Rise all the way up, reaching to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, circle the arms up, reaching tall, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hinging forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step your left foot back, left knee to the mat. Untucking the back toes, root through that right foot. Inhale, we rise into Anjaneyasana. And then exhale, the hands come right back down. Inhale into tabletop. Exhale, extended child's pose. So hips back, hands slide forward. Staying right here, or inhale, rock forward into your plank. Exhale and lower to your belly. Inhale, cobra, lower high. Exhale and release. Inhale, push up. Exhale, down dog or child's pose or anything else that you need in this moment. And again, see if you can just settle in. So another option would be Vajrasana, just sitting back on the heels. Once again, just really connecting to whatever resource is supportive for you, whatever is soothing in this moment. And then from here, inhale, hands and knees to the ground. Exhale, left foot forward, ankle under knee. Inhale to rise. Exhale to lower. Inhale, step forward, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, reach tall. Exhale, bring it back to the heart. Inhale, circle the arms up. So really moving with the breath here. Exhale, forward fold. Smooth and steady. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, right foot back, right knee to the mat. Inhale to rise. Exhale to lower. Inhale, tabletop. Exhale, child's pose, sliding those hands forward. Again, stay here or inhale to plank. Exhale and lower. Inhale, cobra, Bhujangasana. Exhale, release. Inhale, push up. Exhale, down dog, child's pose, Vajrasana, whatever is needed. Settling in. And then inhale, knees to the mat. Exhale, right foot forward. Inhale to rise. Use that full exhale to lower. Inhale, step forward. Halfway lift, inhale. Forward fold, exhale. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, back to your heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, left foot back, left knee to the mat. Inhale, rising up. Exhale, lowering the hands. Inhale, tabletop. Exhale, extended child's pose. Staying here, or inhale to plank. Exhale and lower. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, release. Inhale, push up. Exhale, finding wherever you need to be. Down dog, child's pose, Vajrasana, somewhere else. Steady gaze, steady breath. Next breath, inhale, knees to the mat. Exhale, left foot forward, ankle underneath. Inhale, rising up. Exhale, lowering the hands. Step forward, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, bring it back to the heart. Releasing the arms, Tadasana. Take a few moments here. Once again, bring your full presence to this time, this space. Feel your feet in contact with the ground. Feel your breath, or again, any of the other resources that are supportive for you. And then from here, take another full breath in. Exhale, join the palms together in front of the heart. Okay, so the feet, once again, are parallel to one another. They're about hips width apart. As you inhale, we're going to reach the arms outward, upward. Again, maybe a little lift of the heart and the chin. And then exhale, bending the knees. We're going to sweep the arms towards the wall behind us. Again, inhale, we're going to rise up. Again, maybe a little lift. Exhale, bending the knees, releasing the arms. Inhale to rise. Exhale, release. Now, we're going to keep that going as we inhale, breathing in through the nose. And then this time as we exhale, out through the mouth. So inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Now again, you can keep this going. You can keep this nice and smooth and soft. However, if you've got some energy that really needs to move, we're going to emphasize our exhalation and the movement with the exhalation a little more. So maybe that movement becomes a little faster. The exhale's a little bit more intense. Breathing in, exhale, letting it go. Maybe it's a lion's breath. So sticking out the tongue. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Inhale. One more. Inhale. And release. Good. Inhale, rising up. And then exhale. Hands can come back to the heart. Once again, we'll come back to Tadasana and just take a few moments here to let everything settle. It's like we took a snow globe, we shook it up, and now everything's settling. And so just allowing it to all settle, for the breath to kind of slow down, for your heart rate to slow down. And take one more moment here, one more breath. And then if the eyes are closed, opening the eyes. From here, we're going to grab our 2 blocks. And again, if you don't have blocks, it's okay. But if you do have them, I'm going to invite you to place them on each side of your mat so that they are available to you. Then we'll step to the top of the mat, take the feet hips width apart. Once again, Tadasana, mountain pose. And then on your next breath, inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, we're going to step back into our downward facing dog. Okay, as you inhale, bring your knees to the mat. And then exhale, right foot forward, ankle under knee. And this is where you can use your blocks or you can just have hands on the ground. Okay, so I like to use my blocks on the tallest level. You can also drop them down. As you inhale, we're going to come forward, let the hips kind of glide forward, heart lifting a little bit. And then as you exhale, drawing the hips back, straight-ish right leg. Right toes can stay grounded, or maybe you lift the right toes like so and bow over that right leg. Okay, so we're going to take that into a little flow. So inhale, we glide forward. Exhale, we glide back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. And then here again, I just want you to find that right pace. And I want you to think of this movement as kind of like this gentle flossing of the hip flexors and hamstrings. It's finding this nice rhythmic movement. And there's no force with this movement. We're not trying to go super deep. It's just a gentle opening of these areas of the body which have a tendency to tense up when we are in fight flight, especially if we are there chronically. Just finding some mobility here. And I know I'm not counting sides. We're not symmetrical beings anyway, so we'll try to do a kind of around the same amount on each side, but it's okay if we don't get it exact. Okay, we'll take one more round here. And then we'll come back into that lunge. I'm going to flip it around here so I'm not facing away from the camera. What we're going to do is tuck the left toes under, lift the back knee so that we can drop that left heel down, and then really push into the right foot, come up into your warrior 2. So finding that warrior 2. It's finding the foundation for the pose. And then from here, we're going to flip the right palm, reverse warrior or peaceful warrior. Really opening up through that right side body. And then from here, we're going to push into the right foot. We're going to reach forward and either bring the right hand to the shin, to the ankle, or to the block. Left arm can extend up towards the sky in our kind of more traditional Utthita Trikonasana, or you can extend that left arm overhead. Okay, from here, we'll take that into a flow again. So inhale, bending the front knee, rising up. Exhale, straighten through the leg, finding whatever variation feels good. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Good. One more time through. Inhale. Exhale. Next inhalation, return to your warrior 2. Exhale, windmill the hands down. You can bring your hands to your blocks left knee to the ground, blocks to the side. Inhale, right knee meets the left knee. Exhale, hips back, hand slide forward, extended child's pose. Staying here, or inhale to your plank. Exhale and lower. Inhale, cobra. Exhale and release. Inhale, push up to all fours. Exhale, child's pose or downward dog. Just take a few breaths wherever you are. And then inhale to hands and knees. Exhale, left foot forward. And again, you can grab those blocks if you have them or want to use them. Inhale, gliding forward. Exhale, gliding back. Inhale, forward. Exhale, back. You can also walk your blocks back and forward. Okay. And just following that breath rhythm. Again, gentle flossing movement. No strain, no force. We'll take 2 more rounds here. Good, and then as we come back into the lunge, we're going to curl the right toes under, lift the knee, pivot the right heel down, and then really start to ground a little more intentionally through that left foot. Rise up into your warrior two. So finding that strong, solid foundation, that grounding through the feet, left toes, left knee, tracking straight towards the front edge of your mat. And then flipping the left palm, inhale, reverse warrior, peaceful warrior. Exhale, we're going to straighten through the left leg. Reach and lengthen again. Hand to the shin, or even the thigh is fine. The shin, the ankle, maybe that block. Right arm can reach up or overhead. And then we'll take that into that flow. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, Trikonasana. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Inhale back to your warrior two. Exhale, windmill to the ground. Lower that right knee. Blocks to the side. Inhale into your tabletop. Exhale. Hips back, hands slide forward. Good. We'll all inhale into a plank pose. And then from here, exhale and lower. All the way down to your belly. This time, hands come underneath the forehead. And just resting your entire body into the support of the ground. From here, I'm just going to lift up onto my elbows so I can speak and not be muffled. But I'm just inviting you to just completely surrender to gravity. And really invite your breath a little more intentionally into the back of your body. So perhaps filling the back of your rib cage, maybe even filling your lower back. And as you breathe in, feeling your body rise away from the ground. As you breathe out, feeling your body soften into the ground. So again, we feel that support that we always have available to us. And just take a few more breaths here. And if you're just enjoying the stillness, you can stay here. Otherwise, I'm going to invite you to bend your knees about 90 degrees. And from here, just slowly taking the feet to the left and then gently swinging the feet to the right. And this movement does not have to be big. It can be like a very small movement, or it could be bigger. It's up to you. But just keep resting your head on your hands, letting your feet sway side to side. And again, you're going to find that right pacing. You're going to find how big the movement needs to be for you or how small it needs to be. And remember, you can always return to stillness. So we'll just take a few more rounds here. And then the next time your feet travel to the right and coming back to center and lowering your feet all the way down to the mat. Go ahead, bring your hands onto your mat next to your ribs. Inhale, pushing up to all fours. And then from here, I'm going to give you some options. We're going to come into a hip stretch of some kind. And so we could come into a single leg pigeon. Now, this might be where you want to use a bunch of props. I'm actually going to flip around here because one idea for a prop is to take your blanket and wedge it underneath your right hip. Okay. You could also take one of those bolsters and lie down on it. This bolster is, not super firm, so maybe I would take the other one. Okay, and then if that does not work for any reason, for your knee, for your hip, another option is to come to a seated position, right shin in front of left, and fold forward. Again, you can also have a prop underneath your seat, or I'm going to invite you to, another one is to come into this position here, just right knee is bent, and you'll fold over. And again, you could have the support of a bolster or your blocks underneath your forearms. Okay. One more option is to come to your back, ankle to thigh, figure four position on your back. So I want you to find whatever hip stretch feels good in your body on this side of the body. Again, remembering we're not symmetrical beings, so it is actually okay to choose a different option for each side of the body. And so just taking a few moments to really settle in. And in these moments of stillness in our practice, they can be used to really start to deepen our inner awareness of whatever's arising within us. And as you start to notice, maybe you're aware of your thoughts instead of being swept up in them. So we can have a little bit of internal space between witness consciousness and the thoughts themselves. Maybe we're just observing pure sensations in our body. Maybe there's emotions that are present. I'm just going to encourage you to see if you can just be with whatever is here. If you can just meet it with some level of acceptance and some compassion. So just bringing loving awareness to anything that is arising in your internal landscape. And if you notice that the mind is still particularly anxious, restless, just bring attention back to one of your resources. Again, that could be your breath. It could be just feeling the support of the ground, the support of the props. Maybe it's reconnecting to your heart. It could even be a really soothing memory, if that's helpful. Or just imagining yourself in a very soothing place, like laying on a beach, laying in the grass, feeling the warmth of the sun on your skin, whatever it is for you. So just taking a few more moments, a few more breaths. And then from here, just slowly easing out of your posture. If you're on your back and you want to stay there for the second side, just hug your knees into your chest. If you're seated and you're going to stay there for the second side, just take a moment maybe to extend the legs. And once again, kind of massage the knees or rotate the legs in and out. If you're coming out of single leg pigeon, maybe just stepping back into your downward dog, pedaling your heels. And then we'll move to the second side. So again, that could be single leg pigeon with or without props. That could be a seated forward fold. Remember, we could also take left leg off to the side, have the right knee bend, and just fold over that left leg. You can again be on your back for that figure four. So choosing really intentionally. Again, this is not something we need to endure. So if you're kind of noticing that you're in the posture, but you're not able to actually relax or rest in the posture, and the breath is rigid in any way, then just modify. Maybe you need to choose a different option for yourself. So sometimes, yes, our yoga practice is really requires more effort and really challenging ourselves. But today, I really want you to have the intention of whatever feels most soothing and supportive. So letting yourself settle in, whatever that looks like. Once again, recruiting those resources. We'll just take a few more moments here. And if you've noticed that your mind really just has gone to past or future, you're just swept up in those waves of thought, just keep returning your attention back to your resource again and again. And then when you're ready, slowly beginning to ease out of the posture. If you're on your back, again, you can just hug your knees to your chest and stay there. If you're seated, you can stay seated. And again, maybe extending the legs. If you're coming out of that single leg pigeon position, again, maybe some downward, like a downward dog with some paddling of the heels. Just find what you need to transition slowly and gently out of the posture. And then we're all going to make our way to our backs, and you can just kind of push any props off to the side. And from here, we're going to bring our feet a little bit wider than hips width apart. Toes can be turned out a little bit wider than the heels. And you can just rest your arms on the ground, kind of near your hips, or maybe bringing the arms out a little bit wider, maybe in more of a cactus shape, so we have that open heart. And then from here, just like we did on our bellies, we're going to let the knees sway to the left and then over to the right. So over to the left and back over to the right. And once again, finding that right pace, that right rhythm for your body. If you would like to pause on each side of the body or in each posture on each side for several breaths and just be there, you're welcome to find that stillness. And then the next time your knees travel to the right, come back to center. And a couple options here. You could let your knees drop in towards one another in internal rotation. You could bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees open up in external rotation. You could find happy baby, stacking the ankles above the knees, holding the thighs, the shins, or the feet. Maybe in happy baby, some rocking. If you'd like a deeper twist or an inversion, that's an option as well. So I really want you to attune to what is needed. What else is needed from this practice? Again, maintaining that intention of soothing your soul, soothing your body, soothing your nervous system. What do you need right now to honor that intention? And then when that feels complete, we're going to transition into Shavasana. Now, really important that you stay warm. So if you want to add layers, please do. This is a great time to use a bolster to support underneath your knees. Another option that I really like is to take the two blocks. And if you have a firmer bolster, this works a little bit better. Bringing the bolster on top of those blocks. And then you can bring your calves on top of the bolster. Okay, I also like using blanket across the belly or under the back of the head for support. Okay, so I want you to really take your time settling into whatever variation of Shavasana that you need. Okay, giving yourself that support. And even after you settle into that posture, really asking if there's any other little adjustments that need to be made to find even more ease in your body. If there's anything else that you need that would feel supportive. So again, you're bringing in those layers of support and then giving yourself permission here to rest and to simply be. Just be. So if you have more time to rest, I encourage you to do so. Otherwise, bringing awareness back to your breath, just noticing the breath as it is. And then perhaps inviting a slightly deeper, slightly more expansive breath. Really emphasizing the exhalation. And then bringing awareness back to your body. You can start to invite some gentle movement back in, wiggling fingers and toes, circling wrists and ankles. Maybe a stretch is needed here. Really taking your time, so no rush. When you're ready, roll gently to one side of your body. And then again, when you're ready, slowly, gently rising to a comfortable seat. Taking a moment here to root your sitting bones into the ground, rising gently through the crown of the head, and then joining palms together in front of your heart. And we'll just take a few moments here to internally close our practice in any way that feels aligned, in any way that's really needed at this time. So that could be with gratitude, if that feels organic and authentic. It could be with a blessing, a prayer, an affirmation. Maybe it's just a few more moments of stillness and presence. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for sharing your practice with me and letting me guide you today. May the merit of this practice be to the liberation of all beings. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a beautiful day. Hari Om.